another episode of The Diplomats brought to you by diplomacybriefing.com, where you can get all the latest knowledge, news, information, scuttlebutt, gossip, and nude pics on diplomacybriefing.com. You can get them there. The internet is full of strange things. All right. So here we go with uh, the two commentators of ours for season 5 Nexus finals, Superstition and Audacious Hand with no fake fire. He kind of looks homeless tonight. It's been rough for him. Whereas Superstition, we now have seen him come out of the dark. We see what his house looks like a little bit. He's got a heart shirt on. What, he put the fake fire on?
Yeah. This is an extra fake fire, though. It's more like a vent in the wall.
Okay. Old school. All right, fellas. We recorded our podcast before we went through the just predicting the disbands and builds in winter. As Superstition originally predicted, it would be a disband of Liverpool. Army Eddie. Army was predicted. Army Sev. Army was predicted. And Fleet Tank disbanded, which I don't think we talked about, but I'm not stunned by that decision. Can you say it again? I think we may have lost your sound there.
Fleet Naples, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Just closer to the mic, buddy. All right. Weird. Okay. So we made a lot of predictions, a lot of grades. We went through. This is what the map looked like going into spring of 05. By the way, Lady Razor did a great little thing about while Austria was doing other work, Russia just went right into Budapest. And I told you I wouldn't have been amazed if that move to Budapest was arranged. I'm still not sure if it is or not, but as we look at the spring 1905 moves, fellas, what do you think? Was that an arranged move with Austria, or did Russia sort of pull back from where they were?
No, I think that's actually a tactical move to support into Galicia. I think he even predicted that Bohemia would try to go there. You think I'm wrong?
It's hard to tell. I don't know why he would support there unless he thought the German would support around. I guess it's just more defensive than anything.
It gives him a lot of options. He can defend Warsaw. He can kind of keep leverage over Austria. He might be trying to negotiate keeping Budapest. He might be working with Italy so that Italy kind of bumps him out of Tyrolia. I mean, Galicia is just one of the most tactically important tiles on the board. I can see why he wants to be there. You can go against, whoever crosses him. I mean, in retrospect, yeah, he could have just gone into Vienna, but I don't think he could have predicted that.
I think he's more concerned about holding Warsaw than he is Budapest right now.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives him a lot of options. He can kind of keep Austria guessing, and he can defend Warsaw.
Yeah, it's a great tile to be in. So it's interesting. I don't know if I would have left the center, but it's definitely not a bad spot.
He also finally got that. He got the Black Sea and he got an army into Romania, which is an awesome exchange to have. And this way, even if he loses a tile, which he definitely will, he's going to lose St. Petersburg, which we should talk about in a minute because they surprised even us with this.
Always a season behind.
Yeah, but this is really beautiful. But in the end, he will have, even if he goes down one, he will have converted all his fleets into armies, which is not a bad place to be in as Russia, especially if you're on the defensive.
It's a great defensive position.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at Germany I just don't know what's happening. Are we seeing a Turkish an IT, and is Russia part of the IT?
I mean, I don't think we're necessarily seeing an IT. It looks to me almost it's very Italy's moves are kind of odd down there. It almost looks like Italy expected to walk into Greece.
I don't understand that, because that only tells me that he thought Greece would be moving to Serbia.
Right.
But-
Otherwise, why would you go to Albania if you want to force it?
But on the other hand, that doesn't. Why would Austria tell him that he was moving Greece only to have his support cut? You know,
Yeah, that doesn't
I
make
just don't know
sense
where
to me.
that certainty was happening. Maybe I think probably Turkey lied to him. I think Turkey probably told him he was supporting him into Greece. You know,
Right. Otherwise, he would have
No,
used Naples differently.
I don't know. What if Turkey just went to? I mean, Turkey could have just gone to Italy and say, "I'm putting 2 on Bulgaria. If you cut Greece, I take it."
Because you wouldn't move Naples to ION if you thought you're going to cut.
yeah,
It'd be a
exactly.
wasted move. You'd move to APU.
And those moves are pretty important at this point in the game. I mean, if it was, even thinking he was going to Greece, I would be trying to move more fleets to the west. I mean, you need 2 to 3 fleets loaded up against the Atlantic as soon as possible, while the east is still in chaos.
I don't know.
So
It looks
I
like
think-
a weird Western triple without France and Italy instead.
Yeah, that's what I was saying last turn. It's going to be a Western triple with Italy wearing France's face as a mask.
So I
But-
think those fleets are going to stay east.
That would be interesting to see. I mean, in spite of everything, you really have to admire what Germany and England have done in this game. I think this might be the first finals where we've had a true kind of duo make it this far together. And to have kind of Italy kind of cuddle up to them, it's pretty nice to see too. I would love to see them just sweep west to east and just destroy the kind of squabbling Eastern powers. I'll have to admit.
Yeah, aren't they going to lose? I'll have to look at the preview, but so North Sea would have to cover London in the fall, right? So
Correct.
theoretically,
Or we'd have to convoy back and lose STP.
it's probably yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was thinking that France would just take North Sea, and that would be awful.
Honestly, I think they're going to exchange Spain for Portugal. I think England's going to get Portugal.
Yeah,
So France will
I
be
can't
out no
see
matter
the
what.
unit. I can't see the unit displacement.
that's
Th-
the
there-
only. Really,
Oh, there are 2 there. There are 2 there.
That's the only real sustainable kind of distribution of centers between England and Italy is with England gets Portugal and Italy gets Spain and Marseille. I mean, still often, I don't think it really works out long term very often, but that's kind of that's the equilibrium, I would say.
I'd still want a fleet nearby. It's Italy.
Okay, well, Russia can't hold off the Huns or the Englishmen coming. I mean, they are already setting up and getting ready to try and cross over the line. I mean, they're going to be able to force St. Petersburg, probably get Moscow.
It's worst case scenario for Russia, and I have to say, I mean, I'm really surprised I didn't see this coming. I mean, I'm kind of beating myself up about it. I thought he'd just moved to Belgium as a defensive move or to keep leverage over Germany. And what they really did here is it looks
They
like
lulled him.
it was a complete feint. Like moving to Baltic was just a complete feint. And now Russia is completely screwed. It's not, this is why I was almost saying that Russia should just try to placate England by letting him take St. Petersburg with a fleet, and that was best case scenario because that army is about to be in St. Petersburg, and from there, Russia's going to devote everything he has to kind of fending that attack off from the north.
I don't know if it was a feint because there's nothing he could have done with 3 on it anyways. It's just a late move to me.
It was a feint in that got him to attack Austria,
Possibly, yeah.
and then they just moved right back there. And instead of being in a like losing St. Petersburg to a fleet is really not
Not bad, but an
really
army.
not a
hopefully.
bad situation. And now he is now in existential danger with that army there. Also, it's pretty. I'm not sure if I've seen too often the army that lands in Belgium in the first year of play then get convoyed for an almost more traditional like attack on Russia like this. It's really interesting.
So, Cedric, the prediction from your end is you think Italy, or both of you guys, not just Hand, there'll be a trade off of Portugal and Spain, and then Italy moving east.
Yep.
I wouldn't, if I was Italy, I just think the way you have to play Italy is that you really just have to be really flexible and keep your options open. So I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people don't agree. There really are gains to be had going west. I mean, also, England is in a position here to really break out of the corner in a kind of dangerous way. I actually think that once Italy gets that army in St. Petersburg and gets 2 builds here, he will then be in the best position to win this game. So if the board does see that, and Italy could slowly expand while being the kind of the kind of tipping point hero of the alliance, and make some gains that way.
Might leave himself pretty open to Germany.
Italy?
No, England.
Oh,
If England is, I mean, isn't that who you just said is in the best position to win the game?
Well, he's not. Once he gets if he gets these 2 builds, he isn't that open to Germany at all. And he has a corner. Germany still doesn't have a corner.
Yeah, honestly, if I was Italy, I'd leave that French army right there.
Same.
Yeah, 2 build England is too good.
I mean, there's only so many Austrian dots to have. I mean, right now, Russia's got an existential threat north, even if Russia was moving against Austria. And I think the jury's still out on that.
I think I said last podcast that Germany is still a big threat to Russia, and he wasn't in the best position. But you still want to give him an A.
I think England and Germany just tricked the board, and it was actually it wasn't even particularly subtle. It's just that in the finals you so rarely see levels of cooperation that can produce even an elementary trick like this. And so just the simple feints to Belgium and Baltic caused Russia to flip on Austria, and that's I think that's what got him. I really do admire what England, they haven't gotten every move correctly, but what England and Germany have done here,
Still good, yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it just shows how much like two minds are better than one, and 2 people are always going to beat people who are like kind of in it for themselves.
Austria gets Conq, loses ball. Theoretically, well, they could bounce in Budapest. It's not going to be a good year for Austria, I don't think. I mean, might get Conq. What's going to happen with Austria?
I think that he could. I think that he has an opportunity to work this out with Russia here. Still, maybe not take Budapest back. I mean, and offer Russia one of the Turkish centers, because Russia can actually still fend this attack off if he can put it together with Austria. It's really his only chance. Austria is kind of in a bad spot too. I read this board as Turkey lied to Italy here about a support. So, I mean, I think Turkey's burned all their bridges. Italy could go both ways. I would love to be Italy here. Everyone's got to be like, he's the most popular guy in the room right now.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And Italy wants to be, Italy's going to be the hot commodity. But
Forever.
which position do you like? I mean, the thing is, it just shows that we know nothing, or at least I don't. Everything is changing on a dime in this game every single season. That's not unusual for a finals game. Because it happens quite a bit. It didn't happen, I don't think, season 3. That seemed to be utterly predictable that Turkey was going to win for years and years and years. But I don't. And season, I think 1, 2, and 4 were pretty unpredictable. This is unpredictable. But it's been a really good finals game. Uh, Here's the board as it stands right now. Umbo says he's out predicting you guys. He knows what's going on.
He does?
Little controversy. Just listen to him.
He doesn't even listen to us.
Hey, I know. He doesn't. He's not listening. I bet you know what?
I know my predictions are better.
I'm willing to bet that
Are his
not only
predictions
does he,
good? Has he actually been right, or does he just like delusionally think he's right like usual?
he's right about a lot of stuff, but I'm willing to bet that he's annotating your predictions, putting it in his book, and gonna try and do a comparison. But we're here in the fall. First question for the fall. Oops. Does St. Petersburg fall?
Yeah. Gotta go. I
And
almost
goes-
think Russia is going to just defend Sev with Moscow, and just that way he has Black Sea open. But we'll see.
Which unit takes it?
Which unit takes what?
St.
The
Petersburg.
army. The army.
Oh, the army. They need
The
the army in
whole,
there.
that was the whole point of the feint.
If England
Okay.
doesn't have an army there, then it's got to go to war with somebody else. And right now they want to focus on not EI or GI.
Well, then, okay, riddle me this, geniuses. Fleet English Channel. So does Burr have to go to Belgium to cover it? Oops, I took Belgium. Does North have to go to London? Oops.
Yeah.
I mean, do those two things have to happen?
I think North will go to London. No, maybe not. I mean, they could also arrange a bounce in Belgium and just call London lost. He still gets a build that way, and then just move into back to the English Channel. It's an easy take next year. I don't think it's really. I don't think it's as much of a problem. I almost think that in the spring, I think the English Channel will probably tap the Mid Atlantic. Actually, that'd be my guess.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for the English Channel to get dislodged. So they can't let that happen. All right,
Yeah.
so the only way for England to there can't be a switched in, as we were talking about, right? Because Mao cannot let. Oh well, England can. Yeah, Mao can't let Italy and Portugal, because that attack would fail. If he has to rely on Italian support to get Portugal. And
which I think is not the greatest idea, but it might happen still because they are exchanging.
What's the threat to Italy if he doesn't? Oh, sorry, I didn't do it. I mean,
I wouldn't do it that way. I would maybe support him in the spring, and then either try to slip into the Mid Atlantic that same, or even try to get France to support France into Portugal and force a disband of that fleet. But I'm not so sure. I mean, with the East is just kind of devolving into a knife fight.
It is.
it is kind of tempting just to roll with. I mean, if to roll with Germany and England and see what you can get. out there. Yeah, I really have to say if I was Italy, I would think long and hard about where I wanted to throw my units. I personally would not have moved Naples to the Ionian Sea. Again, I think he must have been very sure he was getting Greece because it's such a waste to keep that fleet grounded.
So there's no doubt in your mind Conq lied.
I don't see any other reason why that would happen.
Otherwise, you move it to Apulio or the Tyrrhenian Sea. It doesn't
All
make
right.
any sense.
Yeah.
So I was
Unless
dead
you
wrong.
thought you're going to get lucky. So
Mm-hmm.
more than likely, it was promise support.
I mean, the only you could say maybe he did it so that he can not commit east or west and can continue to receive offers from either side. But yeah, I think the opportunity cost of keeping your fleet grounded is too high to do that without some kind of idea that you're getting Greece.
I mean, Burgundy has to move to Belgium, right?
That sucks.
Has to.
I don't think so. Why? I disagree.
His friends can take it.
So what? So what? So if France takes Belgium, then your fucking best like ally and friend is gonna fall a little bit behind you again and remains non-threatening to you while you outpace them and you have that relationship built with them. I don't see any reason why you would try to do some kind of transparent skullduggery to move to Belgium like that.
Oh, I'm not saying it's transparent. It would be, I mean, you'd have to talk to England about it, but
Yeah.
but
I mean,
okay,
if
I
he
see.
doesn't,
If he doesn't, it's just yet again England is the junior partner, right? Yeah, you took St.
France will be in
Petersburg.
Belgium, and Germany won't have a bill to push him out.
I mean, if I was Germany, I would do that if England asked me to, but I wouldn't offer that. I wouldn't alarm my ally by saying, "Let me move to Belgium."
Because if he's
I
in
don't
Belgium
care.
and you dislodge him, then he goes to Holland, and then he
Yeah,
goes to Kiel.
Well, I mean, just like a worthless
He's a raider.
like fleet grounded on someone else's center on the coast sounds great to me. I would almost rather France take Belgium with that fleet. If I'm Germany, I would be very happy with that outcome.
I
So
would not. He has nothing to push him out of.
I would just move to Ruhr. I would move to Ruhr, and then I could cover my own center if I needed to.
I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think so. I wouldn't do that. You guys, but I mean, and what about I also would not move to. I mean, having that army in Burgundy is great, though. I would definitely move Paris into Burgundy because that you can affect both Marseille and Belgium, and you can always kind of play them off of each other that way. But
So
yeah, I'd be kind of getting armies out of there.
Yeah, Burgundy and Roe probably are the best strategic places you can pivot anywhere. There's no more than one army nearby.
Let me ask you this: I've learned the hard way many times because I'm a decent alliance player that the quicker one side of the board resolves, the quicker the other side of the board resolves. And it looks like the West is basically resolved apart from a rogue fleet. Is there any interest in Germany putting Norway into St. Pete, but taking Norway, taking Belgium, getting good position, denying England builds, building a fleet,
I'm just
set
not
up in the
seeing it.
West?
I'm not seeing it because they're probably just riding the high of the fact that they just cracked Austria and Russia so thoroughly and so easily. When you see the other kind of mid-game alliance crack really quickly like this, you almost get this confidence boost in your own alliance. I feel you see the superiority of cooperation over kind of more like individualistic center grabbing, and yeah, I'm not seeing
Conq says he plays in great Germany, and he does.
Hmm.
And I can tell you, the first game I ever played with him, I played England to his Germany, and we resolved the West about as humanly fast as possible. And
Hmm.
just when I was prepared and going over the stalemate line, he turned around on me on a devastating position and ends up being able to solo, I believe, or get 17. I can't quite remember, but it would whether or not. Okay, here's what Humble would say. Your answer really was they won't because you think you feel the bond between them, the heart love, the superstition might put it. But should Germany make the move?
I think it's not just the love; it's the fact that the East, like I said, is a complete knife fight, is in shambles, and the gains, even on a selfish level, you could make significant by continuing to cooperate. You could make significant inroads into your neighboring powers and cross other stalemate lines. And there's also the Italy is a I don't know which game you're referring to, but a strong Italy kind of throws another wrench into those gears where you have the kind of triadic relationship where two can turn against one. So I could see a more stable structure being there where between Germany, England, and Italy, if they're working well together, and if there's like a kind of mutually assured destruction kind of scenario going on, and the East looks fractured, I think that's actually just the most. I think that's the most rational course of action. It's not just completely like a call to emotion. Um, the emotional side of things is just that it allows you to make the optimal move. Like the most rational move is usually not achievable because of paranoia and kind of jealousy and kind of other emotions.
All right,
So
superstition. Should Germany make the move?
No, I don't think so. I think he's got a good defense with Italy. So if England decides to move against it, I think they'll make short work of England. He's still got an Austrian army there. Russia still is in a position where he can retaliate if he has to pull back. I just think that's too many enemies for him to for him to do that. He's already bottled in Munich. If he was expanded a little bit more, maybe. Um, but I see Austria and Russia possibly making up, probably just splitting the Turkish centers and then moving on.
I mean, all I can say is that I hope that no one's in a game with Ed right now where it's 1905 and he's Germany because he clearly really wants to stab.
I really want to. I want to see some turning. In the game, though, it's very rare that I would turn, right? So, but thinking about it, I'm interested. All right, next question for you, you guys. You're very as certain as you can be without being in the game, thinking that Conq lied to Italy. Does
Yeah.
Either that or
Turkey
misinformation, one or the other.
will Turkey and Austria work together this time around? And if so, how would they do it?
I think Turkey's gone. I think Russia and Austria are going to divide them up right now.
I agree.
I mean, Russia's going to lose STP. It's going to need the units. Austria needs the help. It's going to be like, sorry, I needed Budapest, but you can have it back.
I mean, Turkey's been dead. Ed's just pushing this agenda. He's like pursuing
Conq's not dead yet.
Pursuing
Conq.
all legal options to keep Conq in this game. But yeah, it's over, man.
Recount the ballots.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Look, I'm telling you, Conq's ballots have not been certified.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You don't think that Austria lets Conq have Smyrna?
No.
They double bounce Khan and Armenia bounce in Ankara. Give a little build to Turkey. So you think Austria and Russia are working together? The premise of they're going to take out Turkey is that Austria and Russia right now are a team.
I think that
I think they have to.
yeah, it's out of necessity, and I think they're smart enough and cool-headed enough to do it. I think Russia sincerely tried to stab Austria, and that Germany and England got the better of their kind of burgeoning mid-game alliance, and that they will. I think that they're the kind of players who will see that and just form a united front and kind of clean up, like you said, resolve the other side of the map in order to meet the threat from the west.
Yeah, with France going out, it's pretty much 3 versus 2. Turkey's going to go out soon. It's just easier to resolve those 2 spots than continue a war with the bigger power. It's just, yeah, they both have bigger people to fight.
Yeah, and Italy's about to have some really dramatic relationships and like a lot of different people asking different things of him. Yeah, everyone's gonna be courting Italy soon enough.
Okay, if Germany's not going to stab England because that'd be so dumb. How does he
It'd be
advance?
dumb. It just
How does he advance his units east? Does he go to Livonia? Does he shift everybody one a Congo line east?
I mean, it's at this point, this is like a little kind of tactical duel at this point. I mean, I would be, of course, if because you've managed to wedge Austria and Russia, I would be continuing to try to drive that wedge. I would all the arguments. If I was England, I would be making all the arguments you're making about how Germany's going to stab me. If I was Germany, I'd be making all the arguments that have been made in the past about England's going to stab me. If I can just keep them apart one more turn, I can deal a devastating blow and just crush Russia right here. So that would be like the diplomatic front.
Hold on, you can't crush Russia. You can take St. Petersburg.
You can definitely you can crush Russia if you took St. Petersburg and got Livonia.
That's my question. You think Germany should move to Livonia? And my question is this: should Russia, to defend it, since knowing St. Petersburg is gone, move to Livonia with Moscow's support?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of a little bit of a chess match. Yeah, I would definitely defend Livonia. I might even support in there.
Right.
Though having an army in Finland isn't bad in terms of the kind of, but yeah, I would almost support there.
As Germany, I'd really, really, really want Moscow, but that's like England's only channel for growth after this. So I would assume that Germany's going to shift south to northern Austria if it remains a threesome. If not, then yeah, you'll probably see a German stab pretty soon.
Let's count some dots. England's going to take Liverpool. You say England's going to take St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
England takes Portugal, yes or no?
Maybe.
I think it's pretty likely.
I think it's pretty likely, even though it's not the best for Italy right there. I think it's nice to have it stranded.
It's not that bad because you get that, because then if it's in the spring, it's not that bad because it really takes that fleet out of the action, and maybe you could even sneak into the Mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
Like if I was Italy, I would actually try to support England into Portugal and then sneak into the Mid-Atlantic, and then you've got that fleet trapped there. You could even be like, well, I just was tapping there to make sure you weren't up to anything.
All right. So if you think Italy takes Portugal, and now you're Germany, England takes Portugal.
England,
yeah. Italy's up 3. Yeah. England is up 3. Yeah. I'm saying it. I'm saying England's up 3, and you go England. Maybe I'm wrong. I have been drinking.
Mm-hmm.
What is the harm in Germany taking Belgium?
None.
Because then they're both at 8.
Oh, you're so smart, Ed. It took me so long to come to the point just to realize that when an ally who was outpacing me, just to be like, hey man, can I have just as much centers as you? It never occurred to me for a long time. I'm like, oh, it's they can have more centers than me. That's fair. They're playing better than me. But no, if it is true, like a good player, if you're falling behind your ally, you will ask them for those centers. So
Yeah, it makes sense to cover Belgium, I guess.
it does make sense in a way, I suppose. Though I almost would rather move if I could get Italy to support Munich to Tyrolia. I'd almost rather move my line forward against Austria and Russia before they can get it together again.
So Doc could do real damage to Germany by moving to Belgium
To Germany?
because he
Not
denies.
really, because England's only going to get 2 builds.
Oh,
either
two
way.
places to build. 2 places to build.
So
Oh, okay.
he'll
Yeah.
have to hold one if he gets 3. So it's not life or death.
If I was Germany, I would. If I was Germany, I would be very happy if Doc took an English center with that fleet. I would be thrilled. That would be the best case scenario. I I don't see what the threat is really. I was kind of surprised he moved from Gascony to Paris. I might have just moved everything I had towards the east, but just kept an army in Gascony just as insurance or something, or asking for some flashy convoy out of there, but also keeping it there as leverage. I mean, just that move shows that Germany is like really focused on cooperation with both their neighbors because it moves it to a less threatening position for everyone.
I mean, this is going to put, with no alliance breaking, 16 in the hands of EG.
And look at Germany's line. It's just great. They're all just touching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you just got into if you got support into Tyrolia, also, I mean, you got to give it up to. I mean, if you look at the move, I think Italy blocking Austria out of Tyrolia was pretty good as well. But yeah, I would bring Germany down into there. Yeah, there you go. See, he kind of anticipated the Austria's move against him there.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he did that, but
I wonder if he
Could've
was
moved.
expecting Germany to support him too.
could have moved to Trieste and stopped both of it.
Yep.
I would rather keep him out of Tyrolia than Trieste. Tyrolia is a better tile to have than just having him sitting in Trieste. I think it's a better defensive move to have moved there. I think I could see him supporting Germany down into there. If I was Germany, I would go all out on this offensive with Italy and England.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
I mean,
bad
like,
for Italy that Budapest moved out though, so he has no leverage against Austria.
See, I think if when England gets to 2 builds, if there's the EG still going on, even if the fleet and MAO is trapped in Portugal when it moves there, this is going to be difficult if England builds and gets around the Mid-Atlantic stalemate line.
oh yeah, I mean that's why there has to be a triadic relationship between them. I mean,
Well,
Germany
Italy's
and
gonna
Italy
go
have to
around the
be
fleet anyways.
exactly, you know, and Italy has to counterbalance England,
Mm-hmm.
Italy and Germany. But like I said, I think that's why this is almost a more stable alliance structure right now.
I don't know, fellas. I mean, I think the pressure on Italy is going to be immense from Austria and Russia right now. Immense.
Depends if they get it together.
Well, he can just be friends with everybody. You know, he's already kind of shifting. I feel like you can already even see it with how we talk about him. He can almost shift sides every turn, and everyone still likes him. And he's like, I just don't know what to do. Everyone loves me. You know, I don't know whose heart to break.
What should Italy do? West or
Help
east?
Turkey. Help Turkey. Help Turkey.
I would support Munich into Tyrolia. I might help Turkey. I don't know. I think I might even. I would move to Adriatic, like I've been saying. I don't know. I think Turkey lied to him last turn. I think Turkey's beyond redemption. It's just a lost cause at this point.
I don't
Yeah,
think Munich. I don't think Munich's going to go to Tyrolia. If Burgundy's going to Belgium, then Bohemia could sneak into Munich.
I don't think Burgundy's going to Belgium though.
Yeah, he thinks he's gonna pivot out.
I don't think that's going to happen. This is the beginning of a hard move to the east, and that the whole move to the Baltic and back was a feint. They're going to get that army into St. Petersburg, and it's going to be just a shocking blow. I'm actually kind of glad because I almost thought this was too obvious, and I was worried that they wouldn't be able to keep the Austrian-Russian wedge. But just your firm belief that they're still going to stab each other gives me hope that they're going to keep that wedge in, and this is going to be a really nice move for the Western.
It's a firm hope, not a belief.
I
Yeah.
could see Prussia moving to Livonia, and maybe Munich dislodging Bohemia to see where it can retreat to.
I mean, they might even support Prussia into Livonia because they don't have to take Petersburg until the fall.
It's fall.
Oh, right. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, yes. I think, that army is definitely going to St. Petersburg then. Yeah, I think they might, though. I think they'll probably predict that Village Idiot will move to Livonia, and they'll probably just take their chances with Warsaw, try to keep that wedge apart. Maybe they can even get Austria to break for them.
That's what I was thinking. If you force Bohemia out, if Galicia is open or Vienna, it'll just go that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to go to Bohemia. I don't think they can take Livonia. Maybe there's a good way to balance it with Prussia and go. Let's see here.
Because if Burgundy does get Belgium, he can always build again in Munich.
Yeah. If yeah.
And that keeps that line.
Mm-hmm. And that would work too. In any case,
Right.
Either way, I think that they'll prioritize moving that line east.
How does Conq get back in this game? Give me some hope.
He's already dead. I don't know why you keep bringing him up. I'm sorry, Conq.
You see no chance for the man.
I don't. He's either going to have Italy pull him into Greece, or he's going to have to work something with Austria out where he can convoy around and get that fleet out. It's just hard. That's a lot of trust, and for someone who hasn't really got a solid ally, it's a little late for the trust game. But we'll see. I think Greece is the easiest way to stay in, but that's just surviving. It's not really winning.
I mean, I think that if England and Germany hadn't surprised Russia and kind of put them in a bind up north, that he would maybe still be relevant. But now that Russia has to work with Austria, there's no chance anymore.
Will we see an Italian convoy into Denmark?
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, there we go. Austria into Denmark. Yeah.
France would do it because it keeps Portugal.
Turkey into Denmark even. That would keep Conq.
Put Turkey in Denmark.
Missing one
Turkey
fleet.
in Denmark.
If he hadn't allied,
right.
Yeah,
we have a little hole in the convoy line. How sad. Never mind.
I think that's the best convoy. Okay. Anything else before we call it an evening? Who's gonna have? Is there? You guys are predicting England up 2 or 3 at the end of 05.
I'd like to see one. I'd like to see Italy hold Portugal as hostage at least for a year to see how this shakes out, because Belgium's an if. And to keep things fair, I think they could swing that, but most likely 2.
I think I would guess 2. I mean, 3 in theory, but something always goes wrong. So I would say 2.
I'm going to take it back. If there was a stab of Germany to England, wouldn't the best way to do it to be enlisting Russia to put St. Petersburg into Norway with Sweden and deny that build, take it away, take Belgium, keep Portugal. So England's disbanding, and all Russia gets a build to help with Turkey, and Germany can go after England, and the East can continue to be a knife fight.
You have
Yeah, I don't-
all those units on Russia, though. That would
Yeah.
suck. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to ally with you now, and I got to back off your border.
I mean, most
Not-
human beings, when you pull off like a kind of daring deception, will continue on with the plan. There's only a few kind of reptiles who would betray that position. So I think that regardless of, I think that army will be in St. Petersburg. That's if I would stake my life on it.
Yeah, they just got a high off of making that huge move with all those units.
Yeah,
They'll
that
take it. It'll be so weird to pivot off. That would be really weird.
Well, what would Germany care?
I mean, if Germany's going to do something, they would take Norway and put the army in St. Petersburg. But I wouldn't be surprised if North covered Norway, just from England's history of being extremely cautious.
I don't know with
Leave-
London.
Leave
I
London
mean,
open?
it's just like he let France have Liverpool with that army on the island. You can just shadow whatever centers it takes. Just follow the fleet around. I wouldn't even be too worried. I think, yeah, I could see. If I would make a prediction, I will say that France will have Belgium next turn, and then no one will really care.
I don't know. If I was Germany, I would care. You would
Okay.
have to be in Roar then.
I'd like to thank you two meth addicts for coming on our.
Excuse me? What?
I don't know.
he's
I
drunk.
see tattoos and I think meth.
Oh, wow. That's kind of judgy.
I'm all. You've not met me before. Okay, look. You've disappointed me in your predictions, frankly. I'm expecting big moves from these players.
For
but
Turkey.
It's a long game. When Turkey wins,
Yeah.
I expect something.
I think we've learned two things on this podcast: is that Ed loves mid-game stabs and Conq.
I think if my games on Nexus prove anything, it's precisely those 2 points. Without a doubt. All right, gentlemen, that's a good way to end it. Thank you. Thanks to diplomacybriefing.com. Hate to disappoint people, but there are no nudie picks on diplomacybriefing.com unless Lady Razor can draft a few. That would be hilarious. So I'm encouraging a bit of a coup here, Lady Razor, for some nudie picks on diplomacybriefing.com. I think you have posting privileges.
And if you would like some, just subscribe to the Diplomats OnlyFans page, and maybe we can get you some.
The Diplomats After Dark secret page, which you have to find using your ingenuity.
AshleyMadison.com.
Okay. All right. Thanks and good night.